So
Let me just add, I think as Mr. McKay pointed out before, this is not a static situation. And the methods and the tactics that are employed by the bad guys, and therefore by us, evolve. So there is no standard, really. But what there is benchmarks, best practices. And in this case, this particular case, one of the best practices in terms of trying to, again, create this envelope of trying to deter terrorist attacks, adopted north of here in New York, which has suffered terrorist attacks, was, as one other item recommended by counterterrorism experts, was to have random bag searches. It's one additional piece in terms of what we do here. The history, as I understood it, was a couple of years ago, there was an impression left by this board, preceding board, that random bag searches wouldn't occur. Rightly or wrongly, that was the impression left, not only with the public, but with staff. A couple months ago, a few months ago, whatever, I got that clarified so that, in fact, it was not the correct impression. And talking about reacting to situations or making judgment, when the chief came back to me then to discuss this particular thing, I had in my mind concerns about violating people's constitutional rights. I had in my mind not causing queuing at a fair, I was just outside the fair turnstile. I had in mind not being intrusive. And I also had in mind that we're coming up on the holiday season, which historically has been a time when people seem to want to do things, maybe for symbolic reasons. I can't guess their motivations. I also had in mind the fact that Times Square had a failed bombing attempt. Portland, there was something going on that was under control, thank God, because I guess it was the FBI monitoring it. Here we had a couple of folks interested in doing something bad. My sense at that time was I'd rather be ahead of the game than behind the game. And if it meant moving quickly, and it meant moving quickly because I wanted to do this before the holiday season, and introduce something unpredictable, and to maybe throw people off, after we'd gone through, in I'd say about a week or two's time, to figure out just what the tactics should be, refine it so we would not delay people, we would not be intrusive, and we would not violate their constitutional rights. I made a decision to do this because I just felt my judgment it was a time to do it. Now, I agree that given more time, and if I'm feeling relaxed about it, it's good to get public input. You know that I like to get public input. We can talk about other things, customer relations. I like to do that. But I could face tomorrow something that comes to me that says, we got to do something. And I don't know exactly what it would be that we have to do to respond to it. But by God, I'm going to make that decision and we're going to do it. But again, I'd like the customer input when I have the time to do it.